Good morning.
Good morning. We have this meeting called to order. Do we have a minute, Ellen? 1 minute. To bring forth. All right, Bear. What have we been up to?
Not much. Really been kind of quiet the last week, which has been a nice change of pace. We've only had one phone call as a request for grading.
Only one?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Well, let me take it back. I've only had one to the office. I've had a couple of people text me. Like, I'm sorry, you're gonna go pick up cows, but I'm gonna get up there this week. So, yeah, it's been fairly quiet. Just working all three districts, working on getting caught up on grading. And I got a couple guys from Montana City down here on Basin Creek trying to get that caught up and done. Well,
Join the meeting.
On Elkhorn right now, getting that done.
Which one was that?
Elkhorn,
Elkhorn?
yeah. So you got Lower Valley done. Last week, so they're up on Elkhorn yesterday, today, get through that hopefully tomorrow.
Are you mixing any dust pods in with any of that yet?
No, we're just getting that one done. There's a lot of spots on that Elkhorn Road especially that are pretty bony, a lot of rock.
Oh, gotcha.
So when we get into next spring, we're gonna look at talk to Buster about pricing for the material he's got down there to fit on the Elkhorn Road. Gonna give us a pretty good price with all a few roads up and then see about addressing that when we get to that point. So,
That road just gets hammered, boy. It's a
Yeah.
popular road.
yeah, that's pretty rough. So we'll see what we can do there. We'll get through that and then just that lower section of Dry Creek, we're gonna get touched up before winter as well. And just expand out from there. We really got a bunch of roads we gotta get to, like the Whitetail really needs to be addressed, just then get everything ready for snow season.
Yeah, no, there's so much about the lake.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. So, we've been doing a lot of culvert cleaning as well. We found a bunch of culverts that we kind of really didn't know about, that no markers, and they've been buried. So they've been trying to fix a lot of drainage issues, getting ready for the snow and runoff. And then just finishing up some mowing and plowing down south. Or excuse me, mowing and patching. Got winter on the brain already. See, last week I did meet with Joe and Susie from Elkhorn Working Group, kind of ran over the grant stuff, where we're at. A little bit of a frustration because I guess, we're supposed to be done with everything by October. Well, I told you since day one, it was when we can get to it, so it'll be when we can get to it. And I had expressed many times that I wanted them to handle all the purchasing and invoicing, so we didn't have to be the middleman. Apparently, we're gonna be the middleman because they want to do it that way, so we're just getting things going on it. I did get all the culverts are ordered. The fencing is ordered and scheduled to probably start tomorrow. Warman had a cancellation, so they're gonna come in and get started right away. I did get a majority of the route mapped yesterday. The only section I didn't really map was that area referred to as the Devil Slide, because I was going to go through that by myself. I do have some video of it to kind of show you what it looks like, but I took what's considered to be the bypass route that people have made around it. It's not any better.
No, boy.
Yeah, almost lost a window in the Bronco going through there on a tree. So it's pretty rough going around. It's not as bad, but it is still really rough. The problem is that you take the alternate road and there's 3 different paths through this forested area, and it wouldn't be bad if there was one dedicated route. I kind of want to entertain with the Forest Service about leaving that as an optional route, not necessarily part of the county road, or vice versa. Maybe looking at if we had to, potentially adopting it as a short county road or something. I don't know, see what options we have, because I think both are feasible routes. You get up to that point and you've got to be in a capable rig. You got to know what you're doing, because the road doesn't get any better all the way over until you hit Elkhorn. It's narrow, there's trees down. It was a good thing I took a saw. There's other areas where there's little bypasses, like, around a tree or something on some bad obstacles. They'd still be considered to be in our 60-foot right of way. But I think if you get up to that point, you gotta be there for a reason. There'd be a lot of time and effort and money involved in getting equipment in there to do any kind of work and remediation. Just because of how rough and narrow, I could spend a month in there with an excavator and barely make a dent, just moving trees out of the way. So some of it probably got to have some conversations with Forest Service and some of these groups. I personally, just from seeing what's there, don't really see any issue with what's on the ground. I understand people want designated routes and they want them to be labeled as such. And I think we just need to say, can we make this a split with 2 designated routes?
I think the pressing issue was up there was the going through the creek bottom. I think that was the big thing we needed to get figured out. The rest of it, I think, is not really an environmental liability.
The only thing I would say on that optional route you referred to is potentially looking at getting a small volunteer group together of some users and going up and kind of establishing one route through there instead of 3 routes.
Right.
You know, because then you do get guys just kind of making their own way, but unless we put up fences and that are gonna get destroyed, I mean, it's always hard to control people in those areas.
Right.
Especially with modern machinery. So if it was a more designated route, there was a sign, somebody put it in split, kind of a homemade deal saying, this is the road, that's not a road, you have to go this way. And they said, well, this is the easy way. A bunch of handwritten stuff on the sign. I just took it down because it wasn't serving a good purpose, but it irritated people. Then when I got back to the main road, I forgot to turn my tractor back on from there to Turley Meadows, but it followed the map that we have. From Turley Meadows, I thought it turned down the 21 gulch and came down to Elkhorn. I was mistaken. It goes, you continue on and wrap around and come down East St. Gulch, I think is the name of it. And that's a same thing. It's a rough road. It's like, I wouldn't take a regular pickup in there at all. Very narrow, and there's some areas where you've got to have a very capable 4-wheel drive to get through. And I was second guessing life choices yesterday afternoon. Super narrow. And then once you get down to that, there's some private property at the bottom of that 90 Cent Gulch where the road is improved and, you know, you can drive a small SUV or whatever up there to that point. That's maybe another half a mile to Elkhorn. But from Turley all the way to Elkhorn, I did GPS that. So now we can tell the Forest Service because they really didn't know where it came out either. It's pretty obvious when you get up to Turley, there are no other 2-track roads that leave the road in that whole area. The only other sign of trails was the hiking trails that are grown over in grass. So I'll reach out to them and we'll kind of get some ideas, but we are going to start moving forward as time and weather allows on some work on McCarty. They should get the fence started. We got to finalize what we're going to do with the creek crossing right now. The boulder pulling fine. We'll cave in everything there.
Mayor, just to piggyback on the floor here, Montana Trial, I'm in the Watershed Council, so he asked me about McCarty. He said if you need any assistance, probably need that for a grip or anything, let him know. I think they'll offer their assistance too.
Yeah, I don't think the trick will be too big of a deal, and the only hurdle that I've got right now is like just it's not really a hurdle, it's just a step is getting the permits to do the work in the creek. And then just finalizing the best path for how we want to do a hard surface. One out here is probably maps that you mentioned to it, reporting costs, or what it costs versus effort to put in versus, you know, maintenance. We want something we don't have to worry about. Making sure what's our best step along. Shouldn't be too big of a deal.
So is do we got to spend out all the funds by the end of October? Or is that
They really didn't give me a clarifying answer.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was an expiration.
One of the big hiccup with it all is that the guy that was in charge from FWP over these grants was very open to timeframes and what we were doing. He said, just do it when you can.
Yeah.
He was fine with that. They have a new person over that who is a more by the book individual.
Gotcha.
And so they're working with them to try to say, hey, this is how these agreements were made and that everything that was discussed and how it was put forth, we still okay, you know.
Right, okay.
Either way.
So it wasn't a mistake on our end.
No. I do have some of that video I can show you here in a second if you want to see what that looks like. It looks bad. I wouldn't do it on my own, but if I had somebody there to help spot me through it, I don't think. And then I'm meeting next Thursday with the Helena National Forest to discuss the Strawberry Butte, Warm Springs Schedule A section from McClellan to the top there. They had a lot of residents reaching out for clarity on the Schedule A and resolutions to better maintenance and plowing. And so Kathy just wants to have a meeting with us and one of their other individuals to kind of get on the same page before we have any kind of meeting with the public. And like I told them, their best thing is to give them permits to do it themselves. They don't listen to me when I told them 8 months ago we had to renew Schedule A and they didn't want to do it. So technically right now we don't have a Schedule A with help for us. So
How would they manage it? Would they hire a contractor?
they'd be on the residents. You know, it's basically they would get a permit from the Forest Service to perform their own maintenance on the road.
Or their phone?
Or hire somebody to do
Or
it.
to hire a contractor, yeah. But it would be left to the residents to maintain the road, similar to an R&D, other than Forest Service isn't taking the money from the residents, they just do it all themselves.
They're not participating much at all. Forest Service really isn't participating much at all.
Well, they just, you know, Helena Forest, like a lot of other districts, don't have a road crew. I'm talking to Jeremiah from BBRD last week. They're making cuts, budget cuts and personnel cuts, and he's down to 2 guys and they had 8. And this is it. They just can't get anything done because they took all their personnel away from them. So it's going to be pretty rough with the Forest Service for the foreseeable future until they figure out something else. But he's pretty worried that they're going to eliminate their road crews altogether.
Yeah, they weren't good to begin with, you know.
They were like all of every road department in the country, from the federal to the city level, they're all short-staffed and underfunded, and they keep taking it away. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but he's pretty nervous about losing the 2 guys that he does have, just because they're gonna be overworked and not enjoy the job, so. And then just wanted to hit on the state auction did end last week. That international service truck, the big one we had, sold for $23,750. And then the GMC, the old service truck that we was barely getting by with, sold for a lot more than we bought at $6,000.
Wow.
So between the 2 of those, even with the auction fees, which I don't remember offhand what the fees were, it's like 5% or something, will still cover the new service truck that we did purchase.
Thanks.
And then the 2 old pickups we had from the road department, the 2000 went 3,600 and the old Ford went to 43. Made me feel pretty good about selling that to the city because it would have all been right in line. They all sold for low book value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we both got a good deal out of that one.
Good.
So, yeah, kind of what we got for now.
Very good. Gentlemen, have anything for Bear?
Do not. I do not.
We have a kind of a plan or timeline on Corbin.
So we'll probably still try to get up there next week and do a short section, might be half a mile or something to kind of test it. After talking to Corey Thornton from Park County last week, as soon as I kind of explained what the road was doing, he's like, yeah, we've had that before. He says it just kind of happens sometimes. And it's even our roads without dust pods, we grade them and roll rocks work their way up. And that's just kind of what happened. He says that every time it's happened, they've gone in and just let it soak with the diluted, like so normally they put about 4 or 5 jugs of pods into a full water tank. He said, just put 1 jug in, spray it down pretty good, let it soak for 20 minutes, 30 minutes to soften up a little bit, and then just go back and finish blade it and re-roll it with the steel drum really good and should get rid of that problem. He says every time they've done it, it's eliminated that problem.
That's great.
So he says, do not try to grade that road without soaking it because it will.
Yeah.
He broke the They use the same buttons that we use, and he's broken the teeth off of those before, trying to grade those roads, they're so hard.
You've broken what?
The teeth off of the grader bits on the carbide tips that we use on our other blades. He says they've broken those out trying to grade the dust pod roads. They're that hard.
They're that hard, huh? Wow.
So when you put the dust pods back onto the road surface, it must activate it again and loosen it up so you can.
With that diluted, it helps just soften that. Yeah, it helps to dilute it, to reactivate it, but you put a little bit in there so it helps. You're not just completely washing it out.
Yeah.
It must be the only thing that'll stop it, huh?
Yeah.
If it rained, it shouldn't soften it, I wouldn't think.
Should.
It was like 2 weeks rain for long. If we had 5-6 days of good solid steady rain, it might get a little soft.
There's gonna be a little dust on the top.
You might get what they call it a gumball effect, or it felt a little gummy on top, but it never really broke.
Okay.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Did anybody, just out of curiosity, folks from the residents of Corbin, did anybody reach out to him in Park County and inquiring information from him?
I don't know. He hasn't said anything. I know he's been out of town for a couple of weeks dealing with a family issue.
I assume they'd be down there looking at that road.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea what part of the road you're gonna try? Is it the first part that's so rough?
Probably.
The roughest part of it?
Yeah, well, it'd just kind of be. I don't think it would make sense to just start in the middle somewhere, start on the end, and if it works good, we'll work our way to the middle.
See what it does, okay.
Sounded good. Is Wayne coming up?
He's supposed to be here. He's supposed to be getting back in touch with me this week on some of those other questions we had for him. So I'll reach out to him again just to verify that the plan was for him to be here next Tuesday. It's Monday, the holiday. I'll be in, reminder, I'll just be in Lewistown tomorrow for Macker, and we got training here all the time Thursday.
You know, redo your training, your safety training, you're just gonna phone till next month.
And see how the week goes. We have time next week, because I've got some things I want to discuss with the crew, but we may just put it off another week or two.
Okay.
Count tomorrow or Thursday is our safety for this month for training, but
Okay.
I do have some items that we need to discuss though, so we may do something. More.
Okay. The guys up in Blue Sky Heights are still screaming about their speed limit. Is there anything that you know of, any other road department people that have had luck slowing people down on a hard surface road? That nothing? I don't know what.
Sheriff's Department.
It's about all we
Write some
can do.
tickets.
Unfortunately, that's the only thing you can do.
You gotta hide there someplace where you can
Catch them.
catch them. That's right. Write a few tickets.
Yeah, and I put this tactfully, but I've had a couple areas where I've had some concerns just where our guys have been working or other issues, and I've reached out to a few deputies that I know were in the area directly, and have had a little bit better response than sending out a general email.
Gotcha.
So I don't know how often all it's getting trickled out, but I do know there's spread thin. I know that it's a legal thing, and so.
I know probably the hardest part for the sheriff's office is that usually the time people are speeding is going to work or coming home from work, and those are the same time that the sheriff's deputies are supposed to be at the school bus stops. Making sure
Yeah, that's
that
probably
kids
true,
aren't
too.
getting run over, so, you know, they don't have people to go park in every little subdivision that people are speeding through, so.
That's absolutely it. We just don't have the staff to patrol every road all day.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if the speed humps, you know, other, maybe it's other states I've seen speed humps where it's down and up and it's really gradual type thing. I don't know if any of that's been done in Montana, or if it probably causes more of a liability for us than anything to put something that might make them lose control on the road.
I'll talk to some of the supervisors tomorrow, since I'll have them right there in front of you. One of the hard parts, even with backers, is especially in the summer, you'll send out an email on information from these guys and you don't
Everybody's busy.
hear back. They don't respond to emails very well, so
We could maybe grind that road up and put dust pods on it. That'll slow it down.
most of that where they're
And they-
thinking about is
Disaster. Downhill slide.
Isn't that like Ship Seal? That's a good road, isn't it? It's pretty
only to a
close.
certain portion.
Is
It's only
it?
the first portion. I think that upper portion's all gravel.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what they're talking about, is that very lower part there where it comes down onto where everything meets there. Isn't that where that guy lives probably?
Yeah,
The one thing I would like to do up there is that intersection with Greenwood and whatever the one that goes to the left or right, is that main intersection, the first one in Big Sky is a very wide intersection. It's probably a 40-foot wide road section there.
it is, yeah.
There's no signage, there's no yield sign or stop sign or anything where you're coming down big that intersection. So I think we need to reshape that and mark it. And, you know, if they come down knowing that, hey, I got to stop, and maybe slow down a little bit. I don't know, but it's just one thing that is on our list. And we want to do so. We gotta
Yeah.
get through all the gotta do's first.
That list never ends.
No.
Okay, no, that's all I have then, I guess. The commissioners are good. I think we'll be done for this week.
Think so. Let's get into Mike, yeah.
Yeah, start in on Mike
Yeah,
now.
we got a lot.
One mic to the next mic. All right, our